Welcome, Rotarians. District 5160, my name is Lain, Hensley. I've had the privilege of being involved with Camp Royal for the last 17 years. And I love Camp Royal. It's changed my life. Everybody who's on the screen here has had a huge influence on what Camp Royal has become, and it's personally impacted all of us. Of course, this is the COVID year. Last year was heartbreaking to have to cancel camp. And of course, we hope you're all doing well out there in your COVID journey. And we're thinking today about these students, these young people out there that are going through so much that no other class has ever faced. And why is Camp Royal more important this year than ever? That is the question on our mind. And we know Rotary does such a great job offering all these avenues of how to become a Rotarian, interact, Rotaract, and all of that. In Camp Royal, we've prided ourselves in lighting the spark in every student of why they should be a leader, why answer the invitation Rotary makes so that you can step up and make the world a better place. Service above self. And that is what we are all required to do now as we offer the service of Camp Royal. We're reaching out to you to sponsor students to help fund this mystery of what will it be like to have a virtual Camp Royal. We've always loved that it's in the middle of nowhere. They're away from their phones, they're away from technology, but the world requires that we step into this virtual space. The presenters are ready, I am ready, and I know that we're all really motivated. We want to talk to you a little bit about why we think Camp Royal is more important now than ever. I have Jeremy Bates, I have Robbie Dodson, I have Cho Yoder, all key presenters. Cole Felt, obviously he's camp director, taking a brunt of, I'm sure, a million questions from all of you. And we have Ross Field, who's going to be helping provide video animation to not only what the campers will experience that will be different than just some boring Zoom meeting, and really helping spice up this whole experience. So right now, let's get to the heart of it. Cho, can you start us off? Why is Camp Royal more important this year than ever?
I've been with Camp Royal for about 23 years. I've seen so many students transformed. And this year, they are kind of cooked up in their own home. I heard a lot of stories about the students are depressed. And the best thing for these students is to be able to reach out, to connect with other kids. I believe, even with online sessions, the students will find a way to connect with each other. We will be able to help the kids have better spirit to conquer all difficulties in life.
Spot on. Let's see, Jeremy, can I go to you next? Just thinking maybe you're about to do something else besides this. So a big part of Camp Royal over the last few years has been Mr. Jeremy Bates. You work with young people all the time. You work in the leadership world and how you're sparking hope in the midst of so much suffering right now with addiction and suicide attempts are just going through the roof. Why do you think Camp Royal is more important than ever this year? Even though it has to be virtual, why should we go for this?
This year specifically, given a year being inside, away from school and all kinds of stuff, I think of two specific reasons. The first one is the importance for individuals to kind of almost get some tools to kind of go into this reentry, the social reentry as we're kind of calling it. And so not just about creating leaders that will go into their communities to create impact, but how can we get to a group of young people that are clearly in need and help arm them with some tools of being like, how are we going to get you to reintegrate back into this newness? They're going to need new skills, some new things to think about, new perspectives to understand, kind of getting all back into it. So I think there's an incredible need for that just on an individual human level. But the other side of it is in leadership, understanding the task that we have of sending kids back into this environment, and hopefully an environment that we can change from the beginning. A lot of times education has been stuck in a lot of different ways, but here's an opportunity for us to arm some leaders with some skills, with some understanding and perspective and some enthusiasm and some inspiration to go back onto these school campuses and be like, hey, this is the one opportunity we have to restart this thing. How do we find some leaders in this state, in the northern part of the state, and get them inspired and fired up to relish in this opportunity? There's an individual need, but there's also a communal need. And people are hurting out there in a lot of different ways. So how do we get a group of leaders and obviously use the umbrella of Rotary and all the great stuff that you guys have been doing over the history of Rotary, solving problems and advocating for people. But this is just, to me, that time to help people individually, because everybody needs it, but also to go into this understanding the importance of how crucial student leadership is going to be when kids get back on campus.
Yeah, thank you, Jeremy. My mind just starts to think about really the needs that these kids are facing. And most kids, if you're out there and you're thinking, wow, a virtual camp, they're in virtual school all the time, Zoom fatigue or virtual fatigue. When they're going to class, they log in right before, they don't turn their cameras on, they survive through the session, they take the test. There's no relationship, there's no interaction. We're going to be using polls and videos and throw them into breakouts, and it's not like the Zoom experience that they're experiencing right now. And there's so much information, Jeremy and his inspiration, interactive nature that we're going to do through the virtual and show in our mindfulness sessions and our Qigong in the morning. And we're going to be able to do these things virtually. And there's a huge meat and potatoes kind of experience that we go into when we go into Robbie's information about really what makes me tick. How do I show, what's my human factor? And it's been such a huge part of the Camp Royal experience. Robbie has been at camp since 1989. That's 32 years as a real mainstay of helping educate these young people. And more important than ever, from my perspective, and Robbie, you can speak, is knowing what these kids are facing and then understanding how I'm wired and what I need as I'm going into either live school or just interactive. And you know those personality types. Tell us about how does the human factor play such a critical role in how these young people get back integrated into their new life, whatever that looks like, as their first day forward starts.
Well, I'd like to start by talking about what Rotary is. Rotary is about love and bringing out the best in people. And in a week's time, they give these young people, which are the cream of the crop, let's face it, they are the best at what they do and where they are in their various schools. They have inherent leadership skills, they're individuals, but they have abilities far beyond what they think they have at the particular time. So Rotary is an avenue for that. And in this week's time, they give them a leadership seminar that's equivalent to the ones that executives get, who head many of the Fortune 500 companies, airlines, the military. They get some of the same essence. But the thing that I love the most is that for 32 years, it's been the highlight of my life to be able to bring to life some of the things that kids don't know about themselves. And just like the baby boom generation all the way to the millennials, they are a cohort. They are what I call the pandemic cohort, which means that they are going through something altogether that many generations ahead have gone through. And this is one of those times where young people, for the first time in their lives, they're being stressed to the max. Their families are being stressed. This is the best time. It's such a training laboratory, a microcosm of what life is about. And they will get an opportunity to find out about the parts of themselves. For example, what are my innate core values? What are my parental core values? What are my social core values? What are my stress values? All of those things are going to be inside the confines of their home or somewhere nearby. They get a chance to see how they react under stress. They get a chance to see the individual things, qualities that parents have, that they have. They get a chance to test their values, their parents' values, the things that they've learned. They get a chance to assess what's happening in the world all at the same time, all in the same location. It's my part, and I value it more than anything else in the year, is to teach these kids about what they do under pressure and what they do when they're not under pressure. This is an opportunity for them to focus on the real message of what Rotary is about. So I think more than any other time, this is probably the best time, because when you're under pressure, when things are out of whack, and someone has a message and have an actual experience that you can go through, that you can relate to, it makes you stronger. it's going to be valuable. So I think this would be a wonderful opportunity for Rotary to support something like this.
Thank you, Rob. Yeah, Cole went through camp as a camper in 2009, came back as a camp director. He's of course a Rotarian, has just really modeled what we want to do when we light that fire in young people. Not that the invitation of Rotary doesn't exist for everybody, but that he answered that call. And now you can imagine he's on the front lines of a million questions from all of you. We have presenters, we have the platform. I've been presenting probably 50 to 70 virtual sessions for leadership from companies from Oracle and Microsoft and you name it for the last 10 months. So we've got this figured out. And I want to give Cole a chance to really speak to any concerns he's hearing from all of you and how we've identified those things. And really, like Robbie said, it's a leap of faith. Obviously, your deposits are important so we can start confirming things. And then if we don't get the interest and the signups and stuff that we anticipate, but I really think we will because the need is so great, we will then parlay or refund those monies and look at next year when we get into the live world. But this class needs us more than anyone. And I know that Cole needs us to have a vision and for all of you to get on board with that vision. So Cole, what can we do to support you as we're planning for camp? And what do you want to communicate to those Rotarians out there?
I'm very excited to have Camp Royal this year as we had to cancel it last year due to COVID-19. Although we would like to have Camp Royal back in person this year, we will need to have it virtually. And there's a lot of questions going around about what that will look like this year. And I just wanted to let you all know that we are working on that and we have addressed all the concerns. This year, we will be allowing juniors and seniors to attend Camp Royal. Typically, it has been just for juniors that are transitioning to be seniors, but due to it being virtually and the seniors not being able to have Camp Royal last year, we will be allowing the seniors and the juniors to attend Camp Royal virtually this year.
There are so many details that we have to work out, and don't worry, that is what we do. Our job is to deliver an epic virtual Camp Royal experience, from having mentor leaders / counselors that are going to be in the breakout groups. And we have a whole pool of counselors over the years that will be beaming in to the quality presenters. We already have figured out the technology to seamlessly deliver the same kind of program materials that we've been presenting in the past. Again, there will be invitations to different activities, from morning with meditation times or Qigong with Cho, offering that through the virtual platform. But really, we want to commit the students to 9 a.m. The presentations will start. We'll have a lunch break, and then we'll have a wrap-up hour in the afternoon. That's our job. That's what we do. What we need from you is to commit to supporting this Camp Royal vision. And all you have to do is help find these young people. You will, of course, be funding that. We'll do it all through the virtual platform, and we'll use every tip and trick in our virtual arsenal to make it interactive, to use polling questions, putting them into small group breakout sessions, having all kinds of other Zoom platform conversations where we can send groups of students into smaller groups so they can have the kind of connection that we're talking about. These young people are suffering out there more than we all can even imagine. And how do we connect them through the Rotary experience and the Camp Royal experience? That's on us, and we will do that. And of course, next year, we hope to be back live.
Like, our reputation is our reputation. And you have people, you have families that have come through this, multiple siblings that have come through. And so people are going to trust in who we are and what we've been doing the last number of decades to want to be a part of it. The other thing is, it's like people with suffering from Zoom fatigue and all this stuff. It's the same thing when I go into a school and administrators will be like, kids won't sit down for 45 minutes. They hate these kind of programs. And then you come sit down, and when you're not that dude, then they want to sit in there for an hour and a half or 2 hours. So it's, the idea of Zoom fatigue, these kids are on their phone and technology all the time. It's just, do you have the capability of communicating something that's going to be valuable to them? And I've found through my own experience, when you do that, these kids are locked in. They want to see something that's different, even if it's on Zoom, to be a part of that. The other thing that I would mention too, Lain, is there's a lot of kids that are suffering that need parts of this But there's also a lot of kids that have been celebrating amazing things that they've been doing as well, just haven't had an opportunity to share it. And so for the idea that, there's a lot of suffering and pain and struggle that these kids need help with as well. There's a lot of people that are maybe finding out things about themselves or still been doing amazing things the last 12 months, but haven't had an opportunity to share it, to celebrate it, to find other people that are doing the same sort of thing. So there's a need for that side of it too. It's not just about helping the people that are in the struggle, but also giving people an opportunity that have been doing amazing things or that maybe have found parts of themselves in this whole pandemic that they didn't have or know of before, that allow them to give them this opportunity to kind of use this as a vehicle to share that too. So those would be the things that I would add. Our legacy of who we are is going to get people there. People want to be drawn to something where they know there's going to be something valuable, and we have a track record of proving that. The other thing is we're engaging folks.
Well, Rotarians, I appreciate your time today. This camp began in 1979, and I'm proud to have here the Dick Highland Award in 2014, and it says passing the baton. So Dick passed the baton to me as lucky enough to be part of this camp. He passed it to all of us as presenters, and it's in your hands to take that baton, and with it requires the weight of leadership, for sure. With great power comes great responsibility, and we all feel the power of Camp Royal. We all have the responsibility to deliver a camp that is transformational to them, and we can do it. All we need from you is to find those kids, sponsor those kids, and commit them to the time, and we'll do the rest.